programs. Now I've done this a little bit differently. In class, we're going to mess with the PRAC table that came from FDR's library. We're going to use for little games. Now what I've tried to do here is I've tried to find some type of political poster to show you this, because in the past they've put these on state tests and people get confused as to what they are. Now here you're just going to have to basically write things in. As well, though, we're going to underline some stuff. You're going to make posters yourself for these. We're going to spend an entire day working on these programs. So this first video, we're going to get through the first 8 because they happened in 1933. Just I had to find some way to connect them. The second video will contain the last 10. All right. So here we go. Now I'm kind of going in alphabetical here as we go through this. In 1933, there was one called the Agricultural Adjustment Act, or administration, if you can see at the bottom. What I want you to do there is paid farmers for not planting crops, increased demand for farm commodities. Now, a commodity basically is something that a farm produces. Now, if you notice there as well, this was voided by the Supreme Court in 1936. That's when FDR is going to go into his second term, and that goes into court packing. So, AAA, Agricultural Adjustment Act, or administration. Act set up the administration. Remember we kind of said that Hoover had this idea. This is going to be one of the first things that carries over with FDR. The next one here, number 2, is called the CCC. It is the Civilian Conservation Corps. Corps is a weird word. It's actually spelled C-O-R-P-S. But there you see the triple C. You see young man's opportunity, play, study, health, etc., and there's stuff going with that. They took unmarried men ages 18 to 25, college age, right? Relief roles, sent them into woods and fields to plant trees, build parks, fight soil erosion, and the idea was to prevent another Dust Bowl, which happened in 1932. So the CCC pops up a ton, and they say, why did FDR plant all these trees on the Great Plains in 33? Well, it was because of the Dust Bowl. So CCC, if you remember conservation, going into the woods, planting trees, you should be good with that one. Number 3, we have here, and it's not going with the works progress, but it's something similar, and I couldn't find something, so I just went with this one, right? In 1933, we employed people in useful construction jobs, such as repairing schools, sewer pipe, etc. This was criticized as being useless, and so therefore it is discontinued. It is not public works. It is actually called Civil Works Administration, or CWA. And so that is what we have there. The CWA employed people in useful construction jobs, repairing schools, discontinued. This is a tricky one to get. I really don't think they're going to give it to you. But if you just remember that, you remember civil, right? Civil, a school, everyone goes to school, everyone uses the sewer, everyone builds roads. So this is stuff that is used by everybody, and it's different of works progress, and it's not public works. So it's a little bit weird, I know. Number 4, this is one that's still around today, the FDIC. You can see at the bottom it stands for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Basically, each depositor is insured to at least $250,000 in case of a bank robbery or something like that. The idea, this was one of the things under the Glass-Steagall Banking Act you have there. It was to restore confidence in banking and encourage people to put money in banks so that the national bank set up by Wilson could have ability to function as well. All right. Now here we have this one as well. We're looking at supporting millions of households, funded unemployment projects, provided vaccinations. This is more or less one of the lesser known ones. Give me a second here. But they did a ton of things here. One of these noodle agencies, and so you have the idea that they were going to provide all these things for everyone. I kind of went blank here. That's what I was going here. Now this is actually called the Federal Emergency Relief Administration, FARA. It's discontinued. It actually prevented 5 million households, thousands of work projects, vaccinations, literacy classes. Um, but again, this is one of the ones that kind of fall off by the wayside. So it is Federal Emergency Relief Administration. Remember, relief is directly to the poor. Um, Here we have the idea of girls and women, good pay, good meals, etc. And it was kind of went across. All right. Number 6 is one of the most important ones, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on this one. Okay. In 1933, we have the NRA. It does not stand for National Rifle Association. It stands for National Recovery Administration. And so the National Recovery Administration, the Blue Eagle, we do our part. I'm going to show you a cool video in a little bit. It was actually created by the NIRA, which stands for National Industrial Recovery Act. So it is National Recovery Administration, and it's set up by the National Industrial Recovery Act. And this is, you set business codes in quotes. The symbol was a blue eagle. Their slogan, of course, was "We do our part." Now, in 1935, this is one of the first ones to be shot down by the Constitution and declared unconstitutional. A very, very important court case that does come up. So here you have the idea. It's trying to protect all industry. The court case was the Schechter, and I'll spell it up on the board for you later on. The Schechter Poultry Corporation versus the United States. In essence, what happened is we had a code, and they told the Schechter brothers they had to sell as much chicken as possible. We wanted to feed as many people as possible. Schechter said, well, some of them were sick, hence sick chicken, and they were forced into selling these sick chicken, and people stopped doing business with them because they were selling them bad products. Well, they said we were just doing what the government told us to do, and so the question became, could the government tell an industry what to do? And it went back and they said, no, absolutely not. They can't do that. And so this will kind of inspire FDR, and we'll bring it up again in the second New Deal because it promotes him going and doing something else. All right? Now, number 7, moving right along here, we have the PWA. All right? Pew. So the Public Works Administration, 1933, Public Works Administration was also created by that National Industrial Recovery Act. This was intended for both industrial recovery and unemployment relief. Construction projects such as the most notable one would be the Golden Gate Bridge, dams for water and power. Of course, PWA, we know that they started constructing later on what would become PWA, the Hoover Dam or Boulder Dam. And so that is it. So the National Industrial Recovery Act sets up these two organizations, and they're pretty interesting there. Now, the last one we're going to do in this little video here, number 8, is one that is near to you. Economic development of all Tennessee River Valley. It is called the Tennessee Valley Authority. It built hydroelectric dams to revitalize the area, provided jobs, low-cost housing, reforestation, and other services. And the idea was to build up the Tennessee Valley. Tennessee River is a very important river in this part of the country, and so we want to make sure it is up for it. Now, I grouped these ones together. Let me make sure I'm on the right track here. Yeah, good. All 8 of these actually happened in 1933. There were many other ones, but these big 8 came out in his first 100 days. They'll be part of the New Deal and where we're going. From there, we'll get into some other ones that took him in 1934 to get, as well as some in the second New Deal once that happens in 1935. Now, all in all, the New Deal will be dead by 1938, and we'll get into that in the notes tomorrow, probably. But